Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast,
Boston's premier art podcast,
where we talk art, culture, and philosophy.
I'm Brian Huntress.
And I'm Theodora Earthworms.
Here is the show. Okay, special episode.
Special episode.
It's a special episode because we have, once again, fallen massively behind.
Ah, yes.
And...
as we do.
Yeah, it's the day before release of this episode. which is unusual for us. This is what we did all the time in the very early, in the origins of the podcast. You might even say we are still in the origins of this podcast, still trying to hit a good stride.
We're gonna have a good stride. We have a better stride than we used to.
Significantly, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we haven't done this in a while. This is kind of an error.
And you might say, Brian and Theo, if you do not feel like creating, why are you forcing yourself to create? And I would say, I don't force myself to create, really, but I do force myself to create this podcast because I feel like this is something that benefits from that perseverance and commitment and fidelity to the release.
Discipline.
This requires, you know what I mean? Because forcing yourself to paint when you just really actually don't want to paint will probably just make you unhappy. Or forcing yourself to create content and shit will make you unhappy. But I don't know, man. I think that if we just let the release fall by the wayside and didn't give a shit about this, I'd feel really bad about it.
Yeah.
It would be a dying pang of guilt and shame and just sad feelings.
I think also actually, I don't know. I guess I could debate a lot of what you just said, TBH. I think that the consistency is key with this project, but I think that there are also times when you don't feel like painting or making something that you should anyway. Not always, but sometimes.
Discipline. Oh, jeez.
So what are we doing right now? Where are we going?
We're both fighting super hard in our internal selves to actually have something to say.
No.
Should I speak for myself?
Yeah. I have things to say.
You do?
Yeah, I just asked you a question.
Your hair looks so big and amazing right now.
Thank you.
It looks really cool. Yeah.
It was in a bun
nice.
and it hurt my head, so I took it down.
Yeah.
Now it's very large.
Looks good. I like it.
Thank you. Your hair looks good too.
Thanks. I washed it.
That's nice. It's a good move.
But yeah, right now we're on the way to Walmart.
Yeah.
Old friend, our old friends over at the Walton family. Speaking of the Walton family, I probably haven't talked about this before, but I told you about it a little bit. This art museum I visited in Arkansas, in northwestern Arkansas, called the Crystal Bridges Museum, and it is famously owned by the Walton family.
Huh.
It is.
You did tell me about that, actually.
Yeah, it's a massive. It's a huge institution that's probably maybe not as big as the MFA, but on par with the MFA Boston, and also features a fucking enormous outdoor sculpture garden.
Wow. With
just huge ass permanent sculptures, and it was just really interesting to just be in a museum filled with famous very, very old American history paintings, like shit that you've seen in art history textbooks. Some I can't really name because I can't really remember, but I can see them in my head. But they had an extraordinary connection. But it was pretty weird to just think that some famous beautiful painting is just owned by the fucking people who own the Walmart family. It's kind of spooky. It
is spooky. I guess that tracks for art history though. Usually wealthy families amass collections of art.
I once heard, did you know that I'm pretty sure it's Bill Gates owns an actual authentic page from Da Vinci's notebooks?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of sick, actually.
That'd be a fucking badass thing to own.
How do you think he has it stored? Do you think it's in a frame in his house?
I wouldn't say that it's in a frame. It's probably in a fucking cigar style fucking humidor in a glass case with a metal fucking protective shield, with extremely low lights in a dark room.
That's sick.
I mean, can you imagine how fragile that piece of paper is?
Yeah, true, actually.
And the ink on it probably does not have...
Can't we see the sun?
It's probably not a secure, light-fast pigment.
Yeah.
It's probably barely legible as it is. It's probably insanely delicate.
Huh.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, odds are, usually people who own assets like that, I feel like, don't even fucking have them on display. Like, they have them probably, like... honestly, you know what I would do? Like, if I owned, like, a fucking $9 million, like, Frida Kahlo painting...
Yeah.
And I had money like that, I would probably never have it in view of anybody. Like, I would never have it exposed to just the whims and wills of my guests and people that know me, ever.
Yeah.
And I would probably find some, like, art storage company, like some, like, conservationist person to store it for me and be like, hi, I'm going to pay you this fee a month on a monthly basis for you to house this priceless item and take care of it and make sure that it doesn't die.
Just keep it in like a creepy underground storage unit.
I probably honestly would, because can you imagine, like, I don't know, like, you know how, like, Pokemon cards are, like, really, really, really hot right now and insanely expensive?
Yeah.
And, like, a first edition, like, Charizard card from, like, 1998 or whenever the fuck those came out can, like, run for up to probably, like, $150,000 a card.
Wow,
like,
that's fucking insane.
So imagine having that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, like, on your dresser, just sitting there.
Yeah.
You'd be terrified. It would give me so much anxiety to just have a priceless item of that, like an item of that magnitude that is a floating currency where its value can be damaged or reduced by, like, one idiotic fuck up.
True.
Like, you never just like you know what I did to my vaccine, man? My vaccine
God,
proof.
What did you do?
I, like, kind of creased it a little bit, and it made me so upset.
Mine is.
I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. I just
like,
bent this thing. Yeah, you just got it right there in your wallet, huh?
Yeah, just carry it. Keep
Isn't
that
it
shit
kind
on
of
me.
interesting that they printed those with 4 slots?
For boosters.
I've heard, I have no idea if this is true or not. It's not like I'm spreading misinformation to that many people, but I've heard that you can get your booster now. Like, I think you can get a Pfizer booster at CVS.
I don't think it's that possible to do. I think you have to be immunocompromised or over 65.
Really?
Still.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't just, like, ignorantly just, like, hey, everybody, listeners of the podcast, go to... I don't know.
I don't know. Look into it, I guess.
I don't think I have that much power. I don't think I have enough power to successfully spread disinformation.
But maybe someday we will.
That's
This
true.
won't be topical anymore someday.
Honestly, maybe not. I saw this fucking insane NPR article that was, like, talking... I didn't read it, obviously, because I just skim headlines and then feel bad about it and then just, like, look at my phone again in another 15 minutes. Anyway. But I saw one where it was saying that white-tailed deer in North America are, like, rapidly spreading COVID to each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird that animals can get COVID as well.
Well, some animals can, and it turns out that white-tailed deer specifically, which is just the standard deer that you see around these parts, gets it, like in a meaningful way, gets COVID.
Wow.
Which means that in the worst case scenario, white-tailed deer could just rapidly spread, like, indiscriminately just spread COVID.
Ugh.
Despite our well, this is a detour I didn't expect.
Is it the same kind of COVID? Like, could you catch COVID from a deer if you were in close proximity with an infected deer?
I think that nobody knows that yet. Like, I think the scientists studying this are not sure about that yet. But if that is the case, that would suck ass.
I don't really feel like there's a lot of situations that are close enough to a deer to catch COVID from it, though.
That's true, actually. You imagine?
Yeah, there'd be a
just
lot
like a deer rolls up and everyone's like, fuck, put on your masks. Let's get away from this fucking thing. Ah, shit. Anyway. Yeah. Damn. Deer are one of my favorite animals.
Really? I did not know that.
I don't know. I've always thought they were just really kind of like... They just, to me, have such like a mystical quality to them because they are... I just think they're really cool because they are almost silent. They're very beautiful, and you just can't get close to them.
Yeah.
They only come out in the night or in very special circumstances, and if you can catch a glimpse of them, it's kind of a rare thing, and then they just kind of run off and go away as if they notice you.
Would you say you find them endearing?
Ah, nice. One time I was in Southfield. For people listening, I was in this old World War II air base in the area that I grew up in, where it's just it was just a massive campus of abandoned buildings. And if you went there, I was there in the night in winter one year, and it was so beautiful because just in the middle of like this like whole road campus area, there was like just a whole mob of just deer just kind of milling around in the snow, and I was probably like 30 feet away from them, just like looking. Like, it was just such a special moment because it was just silent. It was just fresh fallen snow, nobody was around, and it was just looking at these deer just like walking around this abandoned building in the snow. It was just a pretty beautiful sight, honestly.
It does sound beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Huh. Wow.
Interesting times. Oh, man.
I saw a deer on the side of the road the other day.
Yeah, we saw one today.
A living one.
Yeah.
We saw one today?
We saw the carcass of a deer today.
Oh, stop.
Sorry.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I think we did. We saw one. It was, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, we did see some roadkill today.
We've been seeing a bit of roadkill recently.
Rough times. Actually, I'm not going to go on a roadkill tangent right now.
You don't want to go on a roadkill bit?
I started to do a roadkill bit, then I was like, no.
Oh.
God. Today, the vibe is off.
I'd say, like, honestly, I think I was a little bit grouchy earlier.
A little bit.
You were a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, you got a little bit of grouchiness going.
A little bit.
I don't.
Maybe a little
bit. It's okay.
It was better when we ate sandwiches.
Then we had sandwiches.
Yeah.
I'd say the vibe isn't off, but it isn't necessarily an upbeat vibe today.
The vibe is mid.
The vibe is mid. No, I feel like mid means lame or something or shitty.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, hiccups. Or whatever that word is. Not congested.
Not congested. We've gone over this.
Yeah, we've gone over this.
What's that?
Oh, hey, by the way, there's something I wanted to talk to you about on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Actually, and this is a very good thing to talk about.
Okay.
Because me and you had a dispute.
Oh?
We had a very serious dispute and disagreement.
Uh-oh.
Where it seems I have discovered that you think
What did we dispute?
that you are not supposed to use your fingernails
Oh
when
my
you
God.
are itching your skin.
Oh my God.
Like, if you have an itch on your leg, the way I see that is that if there's an itch on your leg,
okay.
you use your fingernails and itch it, and you scratch your itch with your
So-
fingernails. But you think that you're not supposed to use your fingernails. You're supposed to use, like the skin of your fingers or your palm to rub the area that is itchy to,
No.
to subside or quell the itch.
It's in between that. All right?
Because I scratch my itch and you're like appalled.
Okay, that's the fucking thing, though. You are a psychopath about it. And, like, scratch so hard and with your fingernails at, like, a 90-degree angle to your skin that you can hear it from across the room. It looks uncomfortable, and you leave red marks on your skin afterwards. That is too much. If I scratch, it's like my fingernails are, like, diagonal, maybe. I'm gentle. I'm just doing what I need to do, and then I'm out. You are like nails on a chalkboard. You also scratch your pants. Sometimes you just scratch through the denim.
Well,
with
if
your
you got
fingernails.
an itch and you're wearing pants, what am I going to do? Just take my pants off real quick to itch my leg?
In that instance, if I'm wearing jeans and I'm going to scratch my leg, maybe this is like a long fingernail thing, but I'm not going to use my fucking nails on the denim. What the fuck? No, absolutely not. I'm going to like pinch my jeans, like rub it against my leg, use some like Brillo pad inside of the denim action against my legs. Like, I'm not going to fucking... Like, I want to make the sound for the listener, but I don't want to do that to my nails. It's like making my fingernail pads itchy to think about that.
Okay, so
My nail
how about
beds is the
I
word.
do it for the listener? Oh, I'm trying to find a
I
fucking
apologize to the listener, like, trigger warning for what the fuck you're about to do.
What are you talking? It's not that bad. Listen. Like itching denim. You know what I'm actually realizing in this moment that's happening?
What?
Is this is a sensory thing for you.
Yeah, no shit.
You don't like the sound, the specific sound of nails on denim for some reason.
You're saying this like it's not my whole point.
I didn't know that was your point. I thought you were saying that this is a generally held opinion. That people just feel that way.
I also think that. I think that it's gross. Creepy.
I don't know about that. I don't think that it's creepy.
I think my opinion on this is a universal truth, actually.
Do you know what I think we should do with this episode?
What should we do with this episode?
This should be an episode similar to It's Not That Deep, the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Where we just kept recording even though we weren't talking.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, me too.
I'm tired.
I'm also really tired. I don't know what's up with that. Should we get coffees?
I don't think we can get a coffee in Walmart.
If Walmart had a coffee shop, I would not go there.
Like the Walmart cafe.
Walmart should have dunks in them. That would make sense, to be honest.
I feel like they usually have something like that. Like it'll be like a Walmart with like a Subway in it.
Yeah, that's not the same.
The idea of eating a Subway sub right now makes me want to just vomit.
Yeah.
Like the sound of that.
The Subways on the
terrible.
South Shore closing down the way that they did, like limiting their stores so I don't have access to them as much, was kind of like, you know the feeling when like a toxic friend cuts you off and you just realize that it was a good thing? Like you never would have done it yourself.
But you're still like, fucking asshole. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, like
Why
you
did he
never would have
block
been
my
the one
number?
to end the friendship, but now that they're out of your life, it's like, this is fine. Like hanging out with you made my tummy hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Subway.
I feel like just laying down on the ground and dying.
No, you don't. This is because we didn't go to the skate park today. You said you wanted to skate and now you're exhausted.
It's so counterintuitive that, because to me, when I feel like shit and I feel sluggish and sad, if I do something active and I exercise, I no longer feel that way. Like,
Yeah.
you really wouldn't think that, because there's this kind of thing where people are, you know, a lot of the times will say, like, that you should, like, if you're just feeling tired, just rest.
Yeah, no.
But sometimes it's the opposite for me. If I'm feeling tired and I rest, it makes it worse.
If you're feeling tired because you've just been going and going and going, like if you've been working a lot or like doing active stuff all the time and you need a break, then yeah, you should rest. But if you're feeling tired because you've been too... Like, we were in the car a lot today. We drove to Rhode Island.
Yeah, we did. Had to go pick up some pieces from a group show. Pick up the art and bring it back.
Yeah. That was nice. That was a good time.
Shout out to the Heart Spot Gallery in
Yeah.
East Providence.
Yeah.
We almost recorded an episode about that show. We got about 40 minutes in, but the episode didn't really work out.
We talked about that a little bit on our authenticity episode last week.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
We didn't mention the episode, but
I
it wasn't... I don't remember even why that one didn't work. I think we just nixed it.
Do you want to talk about it at all?
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe. Sure.
will.
Fuck
Maybe
it.
we-
Whatever.
Well, I think we just maybe got personal, or we got kind of...
Oh, that episode.
Yeah, I think it just
Yeah,
kind of
no.
went... I think we were just talking about some stuff and you didn't like how it went.
Yeah.
I think you got mad at me.
I didn't get mad at you.
Okay. You
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get mad at me. I'm just kidding.
It wasn't personal.
I think there's a Gatorade on the floor and
You
I
want
want
a
it.
Gatorade from the floor?
Yes. Floor Gatorade. My passenger seat floor is just covered in drinks, and it honestly is like a pretty big blessing for me specifically.
It's not even that bad. You're making it
Because
sound
when
like
I
a
need a
shithole.
drink, I just
You have
pick
like
one
one
up off the
Gatorade and
floor.
one water bottle.
It's usually way worse.
That's
But
true.
yeah, it is wild right now.
It's because it's a new car.
Shh.
Ooh.
Yeah, I paid for it with all my podcast money.
Yeah.
All the fucking
All our-
fat stacks
All our ad revenue.
flying in from our Dr. Phil ads.
Yo, guys, do you think we should get rid of ads?
They do. I'm sure they think we should get rid of ads.
We make no money off of them, and they're really inconvenient
You
and
know-
sometimes kind of triggering.
Yeah, like that Dr. Phil one was pretty shocking.
It's pretty bad.
I'm sure they all know what we're talking about because they definitely got the same ad that we're talking about.
And I posted it on the podcast page.
Yeah, I think that... So, do you want to hear my reasoning for not turning it off?
Sure.
So, full disclosure to all the listeners, the ads generate like $0. We don't make fucking any money off of them. But I like have this like weird, like sad, like this like almost nervous feeling that if I shut them off, that like an episode or something will like go viral and get like 1 million plays and it won't be monetized and we'll make nothing.
Okay, but if it was viral, what would we make? Like $6?
That's a good point. I don't know. It's like kind of a silly fear now that I'm like speaking it out loud. But like, I don't know, man. I probably should just shut them off. Just because they really don't. Like, I definitely want to get rid of the ones... I didn't realize there were ones playing in the middle of episodes.
I didn't either. I was trying to, like, harvest content for our Instagram the other day. Like, get audio clips, and normally I just skip through and find some bits and play them. But I was in the middle of recording this, like, 30-second clip, and all of a sudden, fucking Dr. Phil is like, she lived in hell, and her family hates her.
Why
blah,
don't
blah,
you
blah.
get run over by a car, bitch? Or whatever the
Bitch.
fuck. The TikTok audio. Lay down in the street and die.
Oh my god.
Dr. Phil is honestly such a strange, like, pop culture figure.
It's so interesting, because it's like a weird facade to the whole, like, you know, people make, like, insanely long, like, trauma story times on TikTok, and they just go viral, because everyone's like, wow, that's fucked.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's like that.
For part 2.
Yeah, it's like that, but, like also Maury, kind of. I don't know. I fuck with Dr. Phil. I like Dr. Phil.
So what I like about Dr. Phil is that he isn't, like, there isn't that much pretense. Like, he isn't necessarily pretending that they're, like, curing these people. But what I think is cool about it is that the premise of the show seems to be that they are unpacking and discussing really, really common but shameful and taboo mental health and domestic issues that don't really get talked about in mainstream media.
That's true.
Like, you don't just turn on, like, I don't know, like, just like, and I'm not talking about internet stuff or streaming stuff or podcasts, but I'm talking about, like, it's pretty rare to find those types of issues just discussed on, like, daytime television.
That could be true.
So I kind of think it's cool in that way. I think there could be an argument made that that show kind of exploits psychotic people.
Yeah.
So maybe it does that a little bit, but it doesn't seem like a hidden camera, like Nathan For You style exposition kind of thing. It's more of just, it just kind of seems like the people are kind of, like, fighting to be there.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so, I mean, is it really his fault?
It is kind of a whole train wreck, to be honest.
It's a train wreck of a show, for sure.
Part of the thing that's sad is, like, the people that go on there and they're like, my family has no money for treatment, we don't have health insurance, we're from, like, random state that doesn't have health insurance, and this is our only option, blah, blah, blah. Because that's, like, I don't know. People that genuinely thought that he was going to help, that go on Dr. Phil and just tell the whole nation their problems.
Like Bam Margera.
Okay, that motherfucker had options.
Bam
Margera has, like, so many options.
He's probably infinitely rich.
Yeah.
Also,
not that he has a difficult situation, but...
Also, Bad Baby.
Well, she was one of those examples. She was like, my parents couldn't afford to send me to treatment, so my mom called Dr. Phil and exploited the shit out of me.
Okay, so that's a good point, that it definitely changes the conversation when we're talking about minors.
Yeah, she was 13.
Yeah, man. And for the people who don't know, we're talking about the infamous meme of a few years ago, Catch Me Outside. How about that? That girl...
Danielle Bergoli
went viral from that meme, in the most simplified way, went viral from the meme and ended up launching an actually pretty successful music career off of that. And now she's kind of a public musician, and also maybe kind of in the influencer world.
She does nails, too.
She probably does... what's up?
She does nails. She's a nail artist.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why would she do that? Just for fun, you think?
She just likes it.
Huh.
She does it for her friends and stuff. Posts on her story sometimes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. I thought you meant she, like, worked at, like a nail place.
No, I think she just does it out of her house for people.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, fuck Dr. Phil. Hey, you know what we were thinking about making a whole episode on?
What?
But I was thinking maybe it might be a better segment, or maybe we could talk about it a little bit now, or not, or it could just be something.
What is it?
The discussing tips, tricks, do's, and don'ts of submissions and networking.
Oh, yeah. Very off topic, but yes. We did talk about that. That would be good. Do you want to just do it now?
I think we could talk a little bit about it now. I don't know. Do you feel prepared to do that? Do you have the mental energy to do that?
Yeah, I do. I think.
Okay.
I feel like I'm very flat right now.
I feel pretty flat, but I'm sure the viewer doesn't care.
I can always get hype about telling people what to do.
We don't have the outline right now either.
Do we need it?
No, I think the first one we were talking about. So the reason I think to kind of preamble this topic a little bit is that we are people who have submitted to things many, 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 many times and received many rejections and radio silence during those submissions. Yes. But, and having that experience through art, music, performance, whatever you name it, we've submitted to it and done it badly. But we now, because of the podcast, have had the rare opportunity to be submitted to.
Yeah.
Endlessly. And
which is really cool and really flattering.
And we want to say, before we say any of this, that we want to encourage submissions for interviews, DMs, emails. We do not want to discourage them in any way. And we're not making fun of or shitting on anybody.
Yeah.
But we have noticed over and over and over again that most people who submit to us or try to contact us have no idea how to do it. Mm. And at times confuse us or kind of maybe even disturb us. Or or
straight up like insult us on the form.
But it seems like
I kind of enjoy that.
And the thing was, so in short, we've been getting some bizarre. And to be clear, we're talking about essentially applying to talk with us or to interview with us or to come on an episode for some reason. This feels so pretentious to talk about. Like, we're not better than anybody and we're not making fun of or shitting on anybody at all. But I just think it's kind of interesting that, so in the beginning of this, when we were getting bad submissions, I initially was like, what the fuck are these people's problems? Like, what are these fucking people doing? Like, why would that guy say that like that? What are they talking about? Is this person a creep? Is this a murderer? Like, but now after some time has passed, I think that isn't I think maybe we've had some psycho people, but I also think that it's not just that, but I think a big part of it is actually people just really not knowing how to reach out.
Well, that's the thing that's
not
like
really getting
that was hard in the beginning is that we didn't have a submission form at first, so it was just like DM us.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a hard thing to talk about without being specific, but I don't want to be specific.
Maybe you could fictionalize specific scenarios.
Okay, so without saying anything about anybody in particular, we got some DMs that were like stuff along the lines of like I think that we would be like best friends. We've gotten that a bunch of times. And that was like fine, but also a little strong the first time you talk to someone who you don't know. And it's like no further information or context or anything about who that person is or whatever, just like that. And it's like, I'm really glad that people want to reach out to us and that they feel that way and that they like listening to our content. It's not really a thing where I'm like, I disagree. But it's also like, I would like to know more about you. Like who you are. You know?
Yeah, I think
like context for sure is important.
Here's another thing too. I don't know why it's like I'm not like super busy running around making deals. Like it's not like I'm as busy as any other fucking normal person on earth. Okay.
Yeah, and I would love to make best friends. It's not anything personal.
But here's the thing: if somebody hit us up, like, and just said, "Hey, man, I make custom garden gnomes. Interview me."
Dude, if someone messaged us and said, "Hey man, I fucking make garden gnomes."
That was a horrible example.
That would be awesome. I would book them immediately.
Garden gnomes sound sick. Okay, let me rephrase. But let's say somebody hit us, bro. And let's say someone hits us up and they just do some weird thing. I don't know. They're like, I make smelly rugs.
They talk in that voice too. They send us an audio file.
I don't know. Whatever. Let's just say just some weird fucking. If somebody just literally hit us up and said, "Hey, I'm a fucking random person. Let's record. I do this."
Yes.
End of sentence.
Perfect.
I'd probably be like, all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, okay. I'm not... Previous interview that we did... Actually, no, I'm not going to go down that road.
Okay, I know what you're going to say, though, about that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about any bad stuff. But I'm just saying... We have interviewed some unlikely people that you maybe wouldn't expect would make such awesome podcast episodes.
Or that we wouldn't have even known about if they hadn't reached out to us.
Yeah.
We've interviewed a lot of people that we didn't know before we started recording with them now, which is really cool, because I've never had an experience like that before. And all of those people, what they had in common was that they reached out and said, hey, I think this would be sick. I make this. Let me know. And that's perfect. That was awesome.
Dude, that would be great. Like, one sentence.
Even if it's long, it's just like, the things that stand out as red flags to me, which, like, maybe, I don't even know, this is just our anecdotal, like, experience. Maybe this is a personality thing for us, but taking the application out of it, if you're applying with a DM, like, applying is a weird word anyway, but just reaching out for a collaboration of any kind with someone, and you send, like, if I've never heard of you before, and you send me, like, sending someone an article that's like, this is some recent work that I've done, or this is where it's been shown, that's fine. But if you're like, you tell me your entire life story in the DM and send me like 6 articles and send a CV before I've even like seen your message, that comes across as a little intense. And that can be fine, but what I've noticed is that when we have tried to talk to people that do that, they plow right through us in the conversation. It's really just about flexing, which that is not compatible with the way that we record. I understand why somebody might do that, because I feel like colleges prime you to do that. Like, there are some applications where that's good. But if you're trying to connect with somebody genuinely, like, I want also to not just be, like, I don't know, I want to connect with you. I don't want to just, you know.
Yeah, and I would say, too, that even just aside from, like, flexing stuff or, like, plowing over people.
Yeah.
I would say...
What? I'm sorry.
Plowing over me.
Did I do that? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll be mute.
Or even, you know, like, interrupting people. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Did I do that? I didn't even know.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
no. I don't know what my problem is. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
But, you know, the idea of somebody leading way too hard with their written artist statement or their, you know, what, like, we interviewed somebody one time, who did a really good job. We did an interview one time where the first take of the interview was fucked. The recording process got totally fucked, and we ruined the episode by accident, so we couldn't air it.
I forgot about that. That was heartbreaking.
We just nuked a fucking episode, and it sucked. But what was interesting about it is we found out after the fact that the person that we were interviewing did a horrible job
from their point of view.
From their perspective, and they panicked, and they just basically read like weird stuff that they had put on a piece of paper before it, and it went terribly, and they didn't say anything that they wanted to say, and they were like way too nervous, and they just stuck way too much to like a written monologue. So they just blew it in their point of view.
Which is so funny, because we thought it was good.
We thought it was pretty good, but then we did a second one where we, you know, did a better job with the recording and got it down. But because of that second take, that person decided not to, you know, basically try to read from a script or say a bunch of like hyper prepared things, and just got off the cuff and just let the conversation be organic. And it ended up being 100 times better, man. And you could apply that like that idea to literally any type of social interaction, because like that's really what it is like. So we were going to make you could talk about this too, Theo. Like, we were going to talk about the idea that there is a clear distinction between us and someone like a gallery, or like a real institution, or like a more conventional or official publication, where there are a lot of things that require you to be very professional and do that kind of stuff. And I don't know a lot about that shit. I'm not speaking about that, but what we're talking about could be considered peer-to-peer collaboration and submission.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, because I don't know, man, like, from my experience, one thing that's really common in my world is people hitting up other people to try to find shows. Like, I'd like to play at your venue, or hey, do you want to set up a show with me in your area or something? And that is like so massively easy to fuck up, and you can accidentally make yourself seem like a total dink that nobody wants to play a show with. You know? And that is one of the most unofficial things ever. But sometimes it goes right just because you were like, hey, what's up?
That's the thing, is when it's peer-to-peer, I feel like it really comes down to whether or not you guys jive as people, which is kind of hard to give blanket directions on, but I feel like that's why it feels weird when people, like, will send us, like, a whole bunch of information, like, basically saying, like, this person thinks I'm a good artist, or, like, I was in this magazine, this happened, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if you're sending, like, one or two, it's like, okay, this is a way to familiarize me quickly with your work. That's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'll skim that and figure out what's up, and then we'll talk. That's not a big deal. We've had people do that it went great. But consistently, I've noticed that if someone leads with, like it's like a 7-paragraph message that's, like, 7 different shows that they've played and, like, famous people that they know that they could talk about, like, they're probably a dink.
Yeah. Here's another thing, though. It's like, that is true that a lot of the times when that happens, they're an asshole or dumb. But I think, though, that there is another type of person that does that out of nervousness.
That's true. I've been that person before, too.
Sure, yeah. But, and, like, the thing is, too, is that I've been really nervous about that, too. Like with booking a tour, for example, in a DIY sense, right? Or even if you're just trying to play regional shows.
Yeah.
Let's say we're talking about Salem, and there's one guy up there. His name's like Frankie J, and he fucking lives in an apartment in Salem, and he's the guy you want to talk to if you want to play a sick basement show in Salem.
Gotta get a gig through
So
Frankie J.
everybody knows Frankie J. Your friend says hit up Frankie J. He's the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then you send him a DM or something, or you try to reach out, and you kind of fumble it, and then Frankie thinks you're like a creep or like a loser or like, oh, fucking that guy's so fucking annoying. That is fucking heartbreaking. Because now the one fucking person in the only fucking place that you were trying to play thinks you're a fucking dickhead, and now you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that is like the most, like, horrible anxiety to feel as an artist trying to, like, establish yourself in your local area.
Yeah.
For the one person, the gatekeeper and executioner of the scene thinks you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
That sucks. You know? So I feel that anxiety. Like, I completely identify with that anxiety as somebody who is in a position where it's not like we're fucking, you know, like, we're not making shit with fucking millions and thousands of views or something.
Yeah.
So we're not like fucking hot shit or something.
Well, the other thing too is, like,
to submit to something and for the person to think you're a fucking moron can be heartbreaking.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
That's true. But I think the thing that it comes down to is, like, it's kind of a similar skill set to, like, making new friends in a new area. Because that's kind of what you're talking about, is, like, getting people to just like you. And I've had experiences where we've booked people for interviews, or we haven't recorded with them yet but want to, or whatever, where it's like our initial exposure to that person, they just presented themselves like not great. Like, they just kind of didn't come off awesome. But then I found out that they knew so-and-so a person, I trust so-and-so's, like, judgment, or I've seen their work and their work is still really cool, and they came off kind of weird, but, like, maybe it was just weird. And you just hit them up again and you see maybe if it'll work, and it's a shot in the dark. And every time that that's happened, it's been great. Because I think another thing, too, about the scene, if you want to call it that, or, like, the arts community, which is kind of what I prefer to say.
Sure.
Is, like, it can be really gatekeepy if you go by snap judgments, but I feel like something that's good and bad is that creative people are really quick to cancel other people. Like, if someone's weird, you just get quickly ostracized, like, really fast. So if someone has a lot of friends that are in the same arts network and all of those people aren't fucked, maybe that person's just kind of awkward and doesn't know how to present themselves correctly at first.
And something me and you have talked about at length is the idea of neurodivergence and being, or neurotypical and navigating artistic spaces or just social situations.
Yeah.
We've talked about so much how it is, like,
it's hard.
It's really hard. Like, you know, can you...
I'm the king of saying fucking stupid shit in conversations with people I don't know yet. And, like, them pointing it out to me and me being like, wow, in retrospect, that was dumb as fuck, but I was not, like, fully focused on what was coming out of my face.
Right. So how many times in the world has somebody, like, maybe you talk to someone at a grocery store or, like, at a random place, and that person might not have been neurotypical or something, and you read their communication to you totally wrong on a snap judgment.
That's true.
And you were like, that guy was a piece of shit. And you never think about him again.
Yeah.
You're looking at me. I don't know. I get fucking mad sometimes. I'm not mean to fucking people, but
No, you're not.
when I am anxious, sometimes I just get mad.
You don't take it out on anybody, though. You just rant in the car after.
Yeah, I just talk shit about them.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, that's like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that, like, it's just there's just so much pressure for somebody, like, and there's so much, like, it's, like, kind of funny because I've been playing and going to shows, like, okay, I've been going to local shows for what will literally be 10 years.
Wow.
in 2022, because I first started going to like local shows and stuff in a meaningful way before that, probably, but in a meaningful way where I went like every time in 2012. And I didn't start playing them until like 2013. And anyway, but so that's about almost 10 years for me, and I have known countless organizers and people who were the Frankie J from Salem. I've known that guy, that person, many times over. And I have seen that person massively fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, there's one type of person I'm thinking about, too, which is the organizer and the keeper of the scene that is the shit slinger. That's in the Facebook group, in the local DIY Facebook group, talking shit about people, commenting yikes on people's stuff.
Jesus
canceling
Christ.
people, like, being, like, basically a bully.
Dude, the anger that you just filled me with by saying commenting yikes on someone's post.
Yeah, dude,
like,
it makes
shut
you wanna...
the fuck up. Oh my god.
But that's the thing, though, is that, so, and what I'm talking about is, in a nutshell, when you take all that shit out of it, like, is an organizer or somebody who has worked to establish themselves to have a kind of social leadership.
Yeah.
Which isn't an inherently bad thing to desire or to create for yourself. But for somebody who has that, to then have their fucking way with it and like dance on graves and and like and kind of and get drunk with it, you know what I mean? And that's like that is like a festering bad way. That's the bad way to be.
Yeah.
Because you basically, every comment, everything you're doing, you're just adding another thing to the list that people will, like I said, dance on your grave for.
Yeah.
When you inevitably, when I don't know, when whatever happens and the axe falls down on the fucking front of your fucking skull and it all fucking ends and you're not the fucking king of fucking the Ghoul Saloon or whatever the fuck your basement's name is.
The Ghoul Saloon, that's a good one.
That'd be a pretty cool venue name. I just made that up.
No,
I'm being overwhelmingly negative right now.
This is taking a pretty dark turn.
I took a dark turn. Let's walk it back. Say whatever I don't know. Sorry. I'm all hyped up!
It's okay! No, here's the thing, though, about that is getting back to the advice about submitting and stuff. Like, if you see someone like that, or if you stumble across a scene where there's, like, one dude who's an asshole and everybody has to kiss that asshole's ass to get
Kiss
anything.
the asshole?
Yeah, no. Fuck that. What that is, if you're identifying it from an outside point of view, is a weak point in the scene where you can be the person who's not a dickhead that also has shows in your basement.
You've just discovered a gap in the market.
That's how you uproot a scene and take it for your own.
Right, when there's a cult
That's what I
leader.
Advise.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, the fucking thing that bothers me about, like, I don't even like using the word scene, which, like,
it's
is
a cursed
complicated,
word.
but
It's definitely a word with baggage.
the reason is because of these power dynamics that you're talking about. 'Cause it's like, on one hand, yeah, you don't want to come across as fucking weird. Like, the reason why I don't like when people message me and they're like, I think that you and Brian would be best friends with me, blah, blah, blah. Or, like, I think that we should hang out every single day and I haven't heard from you before. It's because I don't want to have, like, a stalker. That's it. It's just, like, basic, like, safety stuff. It's like, if you're a random person on the internet and I don't know you and you're getting that intimate in the first message, maybe that's a little strong. So I might not reply to you. But in general, if someone messages me and they're kind of weird, I'll message them back and figure out what's going on. I'm not trying to, like, leverage any kind of power over anything. I'm under no delusions that I have any kind of power over anything like that. But if you identify a situation where there's, like, a coolness competition, or, like, you can't go to the show without the right outfit on, and not because you want to, but because you get, like, sacrificed by the other people at the show, or, like, if you feel like you're gonna make a Facebook status that's gonna end your music career, like, stop. Just... Yeah. None of those people are relevant at all, and that sounds like high school.
Yeah. Also, I just need to clarify something. I made a bit of a mistake. We, in the past, interviewed Frankie Simons, who is an artist that lives in Salem. And
Oh my God!
And I just realized that I in no way meant to
Frankie
invoke
J.
Frankie Simons at all.
I didn't
Nothing
even
to
make
do
that
with
connection.
Frankie Simons. I just realized that in my head. That had nothing to do with Frankie Simons. It was
Oh,
an
I love
accidental.
Frankie.
It was an accidental hypothetical name choice.
Shout out.
Anyway, yeah, just listen to the Frankie Simons episode. Great episode.
Yeah. Shout out Real Slim Frankie.
Yeah, hell yeah, on Instagram.
Unrelated.
A member of the Boston Art Podcast alumni
Alumni.
interviewees. Anyway,
Oh my God.
but yeah, no relation, accidental similarity.
But yeah, if you're trying to get involved with a project and it seems like there's some kind of nefarious element of like that kind of energy, just don't even waste your time, in my opinion.
I high level, high key agree. But here's another thing to consider. Okay? What does it mean to be a person who is like a socially powerful person? To be the person in charge of the, like all that stuff. To me, what that is you maintain or are in possession of an asset. You own a venue, or you own a PA system, or you have access to a big space, and you are the steward of that location. And I want to say again, that's also not bad. That's also
that's
really
sick. That's a really
awesome
cool thing
thing.
that you can do
And
for your local community.
I encourage people to try to make that happen for their community.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting to acknowledge that
responsibility that goes with that.
not just the responsibility, but just the fact that to be the king of shit mountain, so to speak, is to be somebody with essentially a commercial real estate rental or ownership. Like you have to be somebody with a financial real estate asset.
Yeah.
You need, it's essential. It's like you have to be a landowner, so to speak. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and maybe that doesn't mean anything. Maybe that's just some dumb fucking thing. But I just think it's interesting that that there's also an element of financial stability, or like, I don't know, or like, or you need to like, I don't know, because that's something. I'm trying to make a point that I'm finding hard to put into words right now, but I think it kind of, it's not good or bad to fucking have a commercial space that you throw shows in. It's more a good thing. But I think it's interesting, to me, that kind of implies that for somebody to feel like they have worth or relevance or something to contribute to a community like that, it kind of implies that they need to have
An asset.
property or an asset. Yeah, they need to have an asset to contribute. And I think that is like a little bit of a slippery slope. Kind of like, I think that is kind of not a great way to think about it, because like I'm thinking a lot right now about Joel Mangian and black market therapy, blah blah blah, shout out, friend of the podcast, hell yeah. But Joel wrote like an article or something, or said something about this one time where he was talking about I'm gonna butcher whatever he said, but the idea that there's too much emphasis on the performers and like the music in a music scene, where a venue or a music and arts community is not made up of arts and music. It's actually made up of security, people who make food, people who clean up the space, people who buy toilet paper to stock in the bathroom. Like, it's made up of so many things. And at a music venue, at fucking Brighton Music Hall, there's fucking some guy that's paid to do this shit. There's employees. But at a DIY space, it's like it's like an ant colony of people creating an environment.
That was a counterpoint that I was thinking when you were saying this, though, because I feel like the definition of what a scene leader isn't as narrow as just the person who has the space, because sometimes the person who has the space isn't even there, or isn't present.
Actually,
like they're just a random person,
You're
or
right.
They're the landlord and you're just renting an apartment. This is a house show that you do every week,
That's
or something
true.
like that. like, it is a really critical part of it, and if you are the person who everybody goes to their place, even if it's not for, like, a music show or something, even if it's just in general, like, you do have a kind of power over the situation, in terms of, like, you get to decide who comes to the show, you get to decide who's in your house, you can kick people out if you want. Like, that is undeniable, but I think an equally important, if not more important, component are the people who make the shows fun. Like, go and talk to everybody, or people who are funny, or people who bring food, or people that, like, promote it online. Like, those people are critical, and sometimes those people don't have any, like, financial assets at all. They're just what makes the scene run. Because if some asshole just decides to have shows at his house every week but has no personality at all, that's awkward as fuck. Like, to be a host, you have to have a hosting persona.
You're not a scene leader if you suck and are boring.
True. That's my take. That's literally my take.
If you're fucking lame, you suck.
Yeah. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always that one person that goes to, like, everybody's parties, and everyone just knows them as, like, the fun guy, or, like, the fun person.
Totally. I know the fun person.
Yeah. I go to fucking parties.
I'm not the fun person, probably.
I'm the fun person. I consider myself a fun person. I go to parties, and I just say stupid shit the whole time, so that everyone else doesn't feel stupid, and then everyone says stupid shit, and it's fun.
Which,
and I contribute nothing.
Yeah, and that's kind of an interesting thing to bring up, because what you're talking about...
Social currency,
but you're also talking about the role of being a host in a different way of not being, hey, what's up, welcome to the shit shack.
Yeah, that sucks.
Not that guy, but being a host in the sense, one time you talked about in the past at your Virago meetings, which for the new listeners, an art collective that you formerly were a big contributor or host of.
I tried to change the name. It got embarrassing.
It's okay. No, it's fine. We don't have to get into it. But but you once talked to me about how you would, or a big part of that was the idea of being fun and getting people comfortable. And being like, yo, what's up? And getting people talking and cracking jokes and getting people talking. Yeah. And being happy to be there. And for context, these meetings and this collective, it wasn't the conventional style of everyone pile in and the band starts and then there's a break and then another. It wasn't like that. It was like a more organized art networking, skill sharing kind of thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. Maybe that was a poor description of what you did, but... No,
it's true. That was the intention. It was very up and down. Some of them were just, like, parties, and some of them we had, like, programming and stuff that we did. But
there were 4 artists, and I guess to finish my point is what I was saying, is that it's interesting to think of that person that makes everybody feel comfortable and happy to be there. That also is a utility.
Yeah.
That also is a really important person to have around.
It's critical.
That is contributing a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I think that's kind of interesting because I don't know.
Everybody's been to shows where everything was planned perfectly. There are really good bands playing. Like, there's food. You're at a great venue. The show, like, there's a ton of people there. But nobody's talking.
And it's a little bit weird.
Everyone's just kind of standing around. A ton of people are smoking cigarettes outside in groups of 2.
Or you just run to your car in between each band and, like, hide from all of them.
Yeah.
The weird people.
And the person who fucks that up, whether you like them or not, is the person that's causing either problems or making noise or talking to people or laughing. Even if it's just like a really drunk person that's there. Like, if something's going on, that's what brings the life to an event of any kind. And if there's a couple people that are making things happen, that's when it's a banger. Every time. And I feel like people like that are, like, when you talk about, like, pillars of the scene or whatever, those are those people minus the power complex. They're just having a good time with their friends. And that's all that it should be. That's why I hate the word scene. Because it's like, shut up. Like, everybody makes it so... Not everybody, but people that think about it that way and think about it like a pyramid or whatever, like assets or whatever, like, I understand that's a really important part of planning is, like, thinking about who's going to provide what. And, like, logistically, I get that. But if you're just attending shows and you're thinking about it like that, or like a power structure kind of thing, that's a little bit sticky because it's not authentic. You should just go and have a good time, and if it blows, go somewhere else. I don't know. I'm kind of lax about the way I plan things, but I feel like that's how it should be.
True fact. Very unrelated to this conversation, but did you leave your keys in my house?
Why?
Because apparently we parked like assholes.
Dude, I don't think I did.
Dude, it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out.
Wait, should we go to your house?
No.
I have my keys.
Okay. It's okay. We don't have to panic. We'll figure it out. I'm sorry.
I should go to your house.
No. Well, it's okay. Let's finish this situation up.
Okay.
And we have some things to pick up at Walmart. We never went in.
But my car is blocking in. Actually, no, it's not if your dad's truck moves.
Let me text him back. It'll be okay.
Is it your brother?
I'm telling you, regardless. I'm texting him back. Don't panic. It's okay.
He might be able to fit if the truck moves.
I know.
Oh my god. You know what I mean, though? I don't know.
Yeah. No, fucking trust me. This is something I have thought about endlessly. Like very, 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 very much. Something and I don't know, man. I don't want to fucking talk about this shit too much or get blue in the face about it, but like, it's just, I don't know, man. These are problems that have existed longer than we have.
That's the fucking thing, though. Like, I don't even think that they're problems. I think that it's getting caught up on things that don't matter. That's why I don't like when people message us and give us, like, a fuck ton of qualifications, because I know that that's how you're thinking about it.
Oh, I understand.
Talk to me like I'm a fucking person, and we're good. If you're flexing and you're trying to show that you are relevant to a scene that I don't give a fuck about, you're speaking a different language than me. Like, this is just about art. This is about me looking at the shit that you painted, you looking at the shit that I painted and going, wow, that's cool.
Good job, dude.
Where do you get your pace from?
Wow, bro.
Yeah, that's it. And then we talk about life and shit, and it's fun, and it's fine. And it's like, that's not to trivialize it. That, I think, is better and more authentic than doing the fucking bullshit. I don't care if you're friends with some random rich person that lives on Com Ave.
Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine if we sat down with somebody for this podcast and we said, so, hello, artist. Please tell me about your references.
Yeah,
and we said, wow, that's really cool. Do you know any really important people? Wow, impressive. That was very cool. By the way, what type of paint do you use? That would be the fucking shittiest fucking interview in the world. It would be fucking so boring. Like, oh, really? That's interesting. You use Ticonderoga pencils. How is that graphite compared to the graphite of Winsor Newton drawing pencils?
Do you ever use Faber-Castell?
Oh, yeah. I have a Faber-Castell pen in my pocket right now.
Right now?
I do.
That's a flex.
Honestly, it kind of is, because packs of them are like fucking like $30 fucking. You know what's funny about this pen, though?
What?
I took it from your desk.
Fuck you! You stole... I had a Faber-Castell pen. I didn't... And you took it?
I didn't steal it. I said, hey, can I borrow that pen? And you said, yeah, I don't care. And then I've just had it since.
Let me see it.
No, I need it.
Let me see it.
You can't have it back.
Which one is it?
It's just a regular Faber-Castell pen.
I said it... What nib is it? Look at me.
No. It's just, see? It's just like a
regular...
regular...
Is it a little skinny one?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening when you asked me. You buy me a new Faber-Castell pen.
No take-backs.
Fuck. You took my pencil sharpener, too.
I took your pencil sharpener in, like, spring of 2020.
And I haven't used graphite since.
You literally have. And you have a new pencil sharpener.
Yeah, a 99-cent one. You have one in the little tank.
What? One that was $2.99?
Yeah. Yes.
It is a good pencil sharpener.
I have executive functioning problems. That's a big obstacle for me.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. Basically, keep it simple and stop, like, I don't know. Whatever. Fuck everything.
Keep it simple and save your goddamn resumes for your college advisor.
Or if someone asks for it, then whip it out. Fuck it. Be proud of what you've accomplished. We'll bring it up during the interview. Also, like, I don't not care, but
for the record, in our guest application, we don't have a section for resumes.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too.
Should we?
No. Fuck. I think that the application form can be a little bit... It feels a little funny to have one, because I feel like with everything that we're saying, it sounds like that's a little impersonal. But the reason that we created that was so that we wouldn't, like... It gives us more information about the person. Because there's questions on there like, who's your favorite artist? Like, what kind of art do you make? What are you influenced by? And I can tell very quickly... Or, like, why are you want to come on the podcast? I can tell very quickly what kind of person someone is by their responses to those questions, which are really difficult to ask through DM. Like, usually someone will hit me up, tell me what kind of art they make, I look at their page, and I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good, and then we schedule. But we realized through trial and error that sometimes presents a very two-dimensional version of a person and doesn't prepare us for having an hour-long, unedited conversation with that person. Because they're showing us their portfolio, essentially. Like, your Instagram persona is not how you are in real life.
Yeah.
And talking to you and asking you questions will get more information from you.
It's also interesting to consider that we have had a number of interviews where it has been very, very, very focused on visual art, and we have had interviews with visual artists that were not focused on visual art at all.
Yeah.
Lauren Cavalcante is a good example of an interview where we did very much talk very hands-on about art and their art making process and what they were making versus, who am I trying to think of, like with Joe Ledoux, for example. We didn't necessarily talk about the technicalities and practical.
Yeah.
Like, so what type of magic hat do you use? You know, he probably doesn't have a magic hat.
Those are both.
What type? Where do you get
though.
your rabbits, sir? I'm just kidding. But
I wonder if Joe has rabbits. Is that a stereotypical magician thing for me to think that he
definitely
has a rabbit?
Yeah. But anyway, but I think it's interesting.
That was so sick. I love talking to both of them.
That was both absolutely highlight interviews. Yeah. Amazing times. But shout out to both. But I guess I only said that because it is really interesting to talk about the real hands-on, shop talk things about art. That is really nice, and I enjoy that, and I think I think the listeners probably like that too. But I also really enjoy things that are just philosophical or just very personal or just conversational that don't necessarily matter or aren't really even relevant to art that much. I'm trying to think of somebody we talked to where it wasn't really even about art, but I don't know.
I think we talked about art for the most part with everybody, but how long we did versus how long we talked about philosophy and their lives and stuff.
Yeah, or who they are, or what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing, like, we want to get to know you. Yeah, I don't know.
How you doing? What's your fuel tank at?
Should I move my car?
Yeah, I have to pee so fucking bad too.
Well, how long are we at?
We're at an hour and 1 minute.
Really? Oh, that's pretty
2
good.
minutes,
Look at us.
almost.
What was the other shit we were going to say?
I don't fucking know.
I feel like the commissions thing can be a different episode. We were
Yeah,
going
we
to
can
talk
talk
about
about-
how to request a commission. It's kind of different.
God, I hate fucking commissions.
I do too. I appreciate them, but I hate them.
I have done many commissions, and the only ones I enjoyed and that were beneficial for me and the person I did them for were people that I actually knew personally.
Yeah.
But when it's somebody that I don't know, this is with exception. I have done some album art for people that I didn't know, and it worked out fine. But it's just like sometimes I'm like, I don't fucking know you, man. I don't know you. I don't know what your music is like. I don't like. And the fucking 80 hours of work I'm going to do on this JPEG that I'm going to email you isn't going to be worth it.
Like $50.
The $50 or whatever the fuck, dude.
I do sometimes enjoy doing album art if the person is paying me appropriately to how much work I'm putting in, and if the kind of setup that I like for album art commissions is when the artist gives me like a mood board essentially.
Sure,
and
yeah.
like talks to me and is like, I really like the visuals of this album, and this album. I think that that's kind of cool. So it gives me like a wheelhouse of aesthetics that they like. And then says, I like this art that you made. Like, this stuff from your Instagram is the reason I reached out to you. So then I know how it fits into my style. And then they say, this is the album. And they just listen to it and make some shit that fits that aesthetic. And then they're like, yes, sick. Or tweak this one thing, but mostly sick.
Right, yeah.
Those are sick. I love doing ones like that. But when someone's like, I want specifically this and I can't draw, so you have to do it for me. Here's $20. It's like, no.
Right.
This isn't Fiverr, bud.
Also, I'd very much prefer to do... I like doing album art, specifically album art, for albums that I believe in and for artists that I believe in. Like, I don't want jobs. Like, I want to contribute to projects that I really want to back. And then I'm like, you know what? This is probably going to be a good, memorable album by a really cool artist, and I'm honored to contribute.
Yeah.
Not fucking some random person that I've never met and like drawing I don't know, whatever. Fuck, I'm all out.
Okay.
I honestly just have to pee. I'm not anti-podcast. I just want to pee.
You looked miserable 3 seconds ago, then you realized that was the issue, and now you're good again.
Yeah, I realized I'm not upset. I just have to pee.
Whatever, we're doing okay.
You want to just go into Walmart right now?
Maybe we should just end the episode. We're already at time. And we have to work on the project.
Secret project. Oh, did I just poke you?
No.
What did I just poke?
Share, I think.
Oh, alright. Boston Beantown Art Broadcast. Bean World.
Bean boys. Mighty beans.
Beantown, Boston Art Brewery.
Bing and bong, bing and bong.
All right, cue the Dr. Phil ad. Bye, guys. Talk to you another time.
Bitch.
Every Friday, follow us on IG, baby. Bye.